Welcome to my channel with another video that is about top 5 jobs that AI cannot replace. In a world rapidly transforming under the influence of artificial intelligence, it's natural to wonder, what does the future of work look like? We hear about AI replacing drivers, customer service reps, even financial analysts. Machines are learning to write, draw, compose music, diagnose diseases, and generate code. With this tidal wave of technological progress, people from all walks of life have begun to ask the same haunting question: will my job still exist in the future? It's a valid concern. But today, we're going to explore a refreshing and much-needed perspective, because amidst this automation revolution, there are some roles that AI cannot, and arguably should not, ever replace. These are jobs that require not just skill or knowledge, but something more: humanity, intuition, creativity, physical adaptability, or emotional depth. Let's explore 5 of these professions, unpacking what makes them uniquely human, and why AI, no matter how advanced, will struggle to replicate their essence. Let's start with the first profession. 1. Therapists and mental health counselors. Imagine a person at their most vulnerable. Perhaps they're grieving the loss of a loved one, or struggling through depression, anxiety, or trauma. They sit across from a trained therapist, not just for advice, but for empathy, presence, and understanding. This relationship isn't transactional, it's deeply human. While AI chatbots can provide mental health support and basic cognitive behavioral therapy routines, they fall short in recognizing subtle emotional cues, understanding nonverbal communication, and most importantly, forming a genuine connection. AI doesn't feel pain. It doesn't understand shame or joy from the inside. It hasn't lived through trauma, and it cannot resonate with the experience of being human. A good therapist reads between the lines. They sense when a patient is saying one thing but feeling another. They draw from their own experiences and emotional intelligence, adjusting their responses in ways that are intuitive, unpredictable, and deeply personal. The therapeutic process is often messy, nonlinear, and emotional. It's not an algorithm to be optimized, but a journey of healing that requires presence and adaptability. While AI may augment therapists, perhaps by analyzing mood trends or assisting with scheduling, it cannot replace the sacred space that therapy creates. That space is defined by trust, vulnerability, and the human ability to hold another person's pain. That is irreplaceable. Next, let's move to a very different realm. 2. The physical, real-world expertise of skilled tradespeople. Electricians, plumbers, mechanics, and HVAC technicians. These workers don't sit behind a desk. They're on site, navigating cramped crawlspaces, diagnosing unpredictable problems in physical systems, adapting to buildings that were built decades ago with no digital blueprint in sight. They climb ladders, crawl under homes, decipher decades-old wiring, and make judgment calls based on texture, smell, and intuition. Unlike factory work, which can be automated because of its repetitive, controlled environment, skilled trades require hands-on adaptability. No two plumbing issues are exactly the same. A wire may be frayed in one house, but encased in asbestos insulation in another. A leaking pipe may be hidden behind a wall filled with fragile insulation and mold. These are scenarios AI-powered robots would struggle to handle, not because the logic is too complex, but because the physical unpredictability is too high. Even more critically, these tradespeople develop a form of bodily intelligence, a muscle memory and tactile awareness that allows them to feel, hear, and see things a machine cannot replicate. In addition, their work requires improvisation, problem-solving, and often direct interaction with clients, where explaining issues and negotiating solutions matter just as much as doing the job itself. Automation might help diagnose certain problems or provide step-by-step guidance via augmented reality, but the execution, judgment, and physical dexterity remain deeply human. Until we develop robots with the flexibility and resilience of a human body, something that's still decades away at best, these trades will remain not only relevant, but essential. Let's now turn our attention to a role that shapes generations. 3. Teachers and educators. Especially those who work with young children. Yes, AI can deliver lessons. It can even personalize them to some degree, adapt content to learning styles, and assess understanding through quizzes. But teaching is not simply the transmission of knowledge. It is the cultivation of curiosity, resilience, collaboration, and ethical understanding. Picture a kindergarten classroom. The teacher isn't just leading a lesson, they're managing emotions, conflicts, laughter, tears, and spontaneous questions. They're noticing when a child is falling behind, not through data, but by the subtle change in body language, the hesitation in their voice, the reluctance to raise a hand. Good teachers are mentors, guides, and sometimes surrogate parents. They teach not only math and reading but empathy, patience, and how to work with others. They know when to pause a lesson because a child just experienced something difficult at home. They bring stories to life, not with flashy graphics, but with the tone of their voice, the sparkle in their eyes, the drama of a well-timed pause. I may assist in content delivery, and virtual tutors may grow more effective over time, but the human element of education, the modeling of character, the emotional coaching, the socialization, cannot be programmed. Great teaching is not transactional. It's a dynamic performance, a relationship, and a responsibility that cannot be delegated to machines. Especially in early education, where trust, attachment, and emotional development are key, human presence is not optional, it's foundational. Fourth on our list are the brave and essential workers in healthcare, particularly nurses and surgeons in complex, high-stakes environments. AI has already proven useful in diagnostics, medical imaging, and predictive analytics. It can scan thousands of MRIs in seconds or alert doctors to early signs of disease. But when it comes to direct patient care, especially in unpredictable, high-pressure situations, human beings are irreplaceable. Think about a nurse in an intensive care unit. They're not just administering medication. They're monitoring subtle changes in a patient's condition, noticing shifts in skin tone, breathing patterns, or emotional demeanor. They're comforting a scared family, managing multiple patients, adjusting care plans in real time based on evolving circumstances. Their work involves compassion, crisis management, ethical decision-making, and physical presence. Similarly, surgeons, especially those in trauma or emergency settings, must make real-time decisions under immense pressure. AI-assisted robotic surgery is powerful, but it operates best in controlled, predictable environments. In reality, human anatomy is often messy. Unexpected bleeding, tissue anomalies, and complex comorbidities demand intuitive judgment, split-second decision-making, and decades of embodied experience. Moreover, the healing process is deeply human. A machine can cut or scan, but it cannot comfort. It cannot look a patient in the eye and say, "You're going to be okay." In healthcare, trust is as important as technique, and that trust is built not through silicon and code, but through the warmth of human connection. Finally, we arrive at a profession that speaks to the soul: creative directors and original artists. I can generate music, paintings, even write novels. But creation is more than pattern replication. It's an act of cultural interpretation, of existential exploration. An artist doesn't just combine elements. They express something that has never been said before, in a voice that is unmistakably their own. A creative director doesn't just pick colors and shapes. They tell stories that resonate with human hearts, challenge norms, and reflect the spirit of their time. AI-generated art may impress with its style, but it lacks struggle, intention, history, and identity. It cannot grow up in a neighborhood, feel heartbreak, lose a loved one, or experience awe in nature. It cannot channel these experiences into a brushstroke, a melody, or a film. Human creativity is messy, nonlinear, and often irrational. It is driven by joy, pain, rebellion, curiosity, and sometimes even madness. A novelist may spend a decade crafting a story that speaks to a generation. A filmmaker may wrestle with personal demons to create a work that touches millions. These are not outputs, they are expressions. Even more, art is about connection. It's a conversation between creator and audience, filled with nuance, silence, and subtext. While AI may assist in the creative process, the spark, the why, behind the what is uniquely human. And that spark cannot be coded. So what does this all mean? In a world where automation is rising and AI is evolving faster than ever before, we must not only ask what jobs are at risk, but which ones reveal the core of what it means to be human. The 5 professions we explored: therapists, tradespeople, teachers, healthcare workers, and original creatives, are not just jobs. They are extensions of our humanity. They represent empathy, dexterity, mentorship, care, and expression. And perhaps this is the most important insight of all: the future of work isn't about competing with machines. It's about being more human than ever. It's about leaning into the things AI can't do: forming relationships, improvising in the real world, feeling deeply, creating from the soul. As we navigate this transformation, let us remember that technology is not destiny, it is a tool. And how we use it, what we choose to preserve, and what we choose to value, that's up to us. I may reshape industries, but it is people who shape meaning. The jobs that cannot be replaced are those that remind us who we are, and who we wish to become. If this deep dive sparked new ideas or questions for you, drop a comment below. Let's build this conversation together. And if you're enjoying these explorations into AI and the future of intelligence, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because here on Innovate AI 365, we're just getting started.